Hello friends, December the 19th, I'm continuing on recording. Now this is much more the short perspective, what's going on the next few days with these many incredible shifts and changes just between now and the 23rd of December in this window where we approach the solstice point, the lowest point of the sun over the northern hemisphere, kind of coming to a halt. And yesterday, yes, we had that alignment with the galactic center, which I covered in my earlier one. Just wanted to add a few more things here to this chart, with the moon at 29 and then Jupiter at 29 here, close to zero, which actually will change on the 20th, just a few days away, actually tomorrow. Into Aries, and then Sedna here at 29. So this in itself is a yod, a finger of God. Jupiter and Sedna. This is the expansion of all that is related with Sedna. Sedna really here at the culmination, at the harvest point, you could say, of Taurus, of bringing it all out into the open, all the mysteries, secrets, alien worlds and realities. It's a huge library of information which is held by Sedna deep under the ocean, stored in that sense, symbolically, allegorically. Sedna, as you know, the 11,400 year orbit, coming back, bringing back an enormous amount of information, feeding it into our kind of toning it down to where we can access it and understand it. Jupiter is helping with that. Then Hygiea also changing signs within the next few days. Ceres just changed a sign yesterday into Libra, the cardinal point here, the beginning of a new sign, of a new way of expressing itself. So they're all in resonance with one another. And quite a few more, if you look closely at the minor planets, Haumea and Elatus here. Also the black moon tuning into this, and Pluto. So it's a big configuration, and the main thing is, yes, it's about bringing a whole new level of last minute changes and messages into the system, things which will bring everything kind of to a culmination, to a boiling point, which we are approaching fast. We are still in that preparation towards January 12th, 13th, around, when another series of major shifts are occurring. Mars turning direct, that's the most obvious. Juno entering Aries, among there's one more, which I guess Aspolus is changing signs too. Anyway, we are not yet there. I also want to say one more thing regarding this whole Venus cycle, which I covered in my last video, is that October the 27th was when Elon Musk took the Twitter over, which I guess we all can see by now, latest, that this was a radical shift in a new direction. Whatever you think of Elon, he is doing definitely a great service with bringing all that suppressed information of suppression and whatnot into the open, and feeding a whole bunch of things into the main frame, which wouldn't have had a chance to come there. So this is all about this October 22nd energy shift, which we see the aftermath, which was the yellow southern castle of expansion. We are now, since December the 13th, we are in the green central castle, that last phase. This is the particular thing about the Mayan calendar, that there's 5 phases, 5 times 52 days in a 260-day cycle. The first 4 kind of are outgoing in each direction, east, north, west, south. That's the sequence in the arrangement of the medicine wheel, which it basically is, which is that symbol of the 4 quadrants of the 2 axes of power, the power of time and the power of space kind of intersecting. So the solstice points are super important. They are relating to this vertical axis of redefining time. It's when the pendulum is exactly at the center point. So that's where we are right now. Let's just go here chart by chart here through what I have lined up here for you. So December 11th, that was a big shift too. You might recall I haven't had the chance to do a video back then, so there was too much going on here, as probably if everyone's alive. These are intense times, everything seems to be compressed. 1001 things are happening and in this, at the same moment, same time, so we have really to be very economical to what we put our focus on and what to favor, what to make most valuable, important. So anyway, Vesta changed sign in heliocentric, and there is this other also heliocentric alignment of Juno and Chiron having their conjunction here in Aries 1446. Now, Vesta is commitment and focused dedication to spiritual growth, to serving a higher principle, if you will. Whatever that higher principle is, it's always the same. Naturally, it boils down to, you might give it 100 different names. In the end, it is that inner dedication that became fired up in a whole new way of new beginnings here on the close heels with Astrea. So the dedication is to clean up and to make things better, to improve. That is the bottom line here. With all those many Aries forces here in the cardinal Aries, yes, this is a time of laying the foundations for new beginnings, putting the stakes in the ground, so to say. And then the Juno-Chiron conjunction, this is a new mutual cycle of the two, which speaks about the sourcing all the flaws within relationships. I guess that's kind of the essence of this. Wherever Chiron shows up, it's about embedment, healing, exposure of imbalances and what has to be improved, and Juno naturally as teamwork, partnership. So there's a big renewal going on there energetically on how we treat, deal, handle and support and be with each other. Naturally, honesty and openness are the keys here, and direct sharing, honest sharing without censoring yourself, but just being very open and clear and blunt. Naturally, in a way, we have to become more what's the word here? More refined in expressing ourselves, to say things in a way which is truly describing what I experience. I guess that's where we all should start anyway. Just really be sure we do not use a language of blame, because that is always just fueling the conflict. But to say, I experiencing it that way, I see that is how things are affecting me, and from that perspective you allow the other one to sense what's going on in you, and that in respect creates a whole different feedback loop. So all about that is here in this conjunction. Now, if we look at what is highlighted here in the beginning of this new way of learning to handle deal with one another, here is Salacia, and this is super beautiful. Salacia also in Aries, here in approaching, actually no, Jupiter has already been conjuncting Salacia. Jupiter is faster here, but Salacia is most exact. That's the enjoyment, the pure enjoyment of action, of whatever we're engaging in. Salacia has the flavor of Zen and of can I say it, of Tantra? Tantra, in the sense of allowing everything to be exactly as it is without interfering and changing, but taking on the position of the observer, being always a little bit aloof from yourself, allowing yourselves to do all the beautiful, wonderful things, and also naturally the things which might not be so beautiful and wonderful at first, but as you do not suppress yourself, you're allowing to experience it from inside out, and then you are giving yourself the chance of learning something, and whatever is not feeling good, whatever hurts you or others, you will not do anymore after you have seen it as an onlooker. That's kind of the idea of Salacia. Beautiful, beautiful energy of detachment, of observation, and of just enjoyment of what is. Interesting that this chart here features the 9 degrees Sag Gemini degrees, where Mars will station on January the 12th at 8 degrees and 7 minutes. So yeah, I mean, many of these cycles are just about starting to kick in and become activated. This is just laying the foundations here for a long process. The Juno Chiron cycle is probably around 5 years. That's how long it takes till the two will meet each other in heliocentric. And again, this is just the energetic background we're looking at here, the unmanifest. We're still a little bit lagging behind that energetically, as many of these asteroids are still in Pisces, catching up. But that was December the 11th energy shift, and then yesterday we had the Sun at the Galactic Center, which we covered, and then just today, actually this is still tomorrow, but very, very soon, Hygiea will change signs here, preparing the ground in Capricorn. Hygiea, health, well-being, serendipity, so it gets to the crystallization of all these issues which have been fired up in Sagittarius for the last month or two, where all the integration of understanding were coming together. Now the crystallization is completing itself. Here also with Venus and Mercury together, it is the really getting to the bottom of the matter of what's been going on here on this planet. And naturally this is a department which has been super intense, as we all know. Interesting, Earth's exact alignment with Aspolus, which is enjoying to go to the bottom of mysteries and uncover dark subjects. I like to compare it to the Sherlock Holmes energy of investigative and kind of passion, and can be a little bit morbid at the extreme, but it definitely is committed to bring out all what the hidden evidence is to a subject. So this is helping. Naturally, again, Pallas here. This is the degree where the US Pluto Mercury is, by the way. 2411. I have the chart out down here. We'll get to it in the end here. 2411. You see, that's a super powerful place for the American nation when that is activated. So yeah, I mean, it's obvious the US is definitely the place where things in a big way will start changing first, and I expect this to happen around March. We will get to that, as I say, in a minute. So we're preparing for that piece by piece, stone by stone. The arrangement is put in place for this to become possible. Also beautiful here, the alignment of Mercury, the perfect T-square to the ascendant and descendant here. In the third house, yes, it is about crystallizing insights and communication, streamlining and becoming very clear and direct in our observations. Methodical, organized, all that, very important. Presenting our case in the utmost perfect and crystallized form. Then yeah, here we have Salacia again. That's just you see, 2 days after Juno. No, that's a little later. 10 days here. You see here, that was when Salacia was here at the midnight point of the Juno Chiron conjunction. 10 days later, Salacia is turning direct, and what this now means is that this energy of joyful interaction and allowing things to occur in a natural way without standing in between and being the sole observer and the one who is just coming from a place of non-identification. I guess that's one of the key words here. Moon and Uranus in opposition here at the nodal axis here at the 7th house cusp, the north node is most exactly. So this is Salacia's energy outgoing for the next several months, probably about 7 months or so, of activating this connection to Earth, firing it up and bringing that enthusiasm. I guess that's what this conjunction really means on the higher level. There's lots of spark, and we feel the potentiality in our times. Everything is kind of in the sprouting phase to bring this Uranian Aquarian energy to a crystallization, to a more clear expression. So that's kind of here at the bottom here, and naturally the moon again at the ascendant, as we have seen so many times in these past weeks, months. It's us, the people, who are shifting the balance here. Again, what I'm sharing here with you is far from comprehensive. This is just touching the surface. I'm more of a reporter, reporting on the different events, how they're aligned with each other, how everything is linked in with one another. It's quite magical. Actually, that is the pronoun I would give the year 2023, magical. It will be a magical word. Here in a magical world, yes. Okay, just a little later, actually, really just minutes. You see, 4:09 we have here AM, and then 4:34. The Sun and Earth are at 28:15 in Sagittarius and Gemini. Entering that last part of the mutual signs, which links into the cardinal signs. It's really the solstice energy kicking in big time there. It is interesting that these hexagrams, and I would like to say something about that for a minute. You see, we are here right now in hexagram 11 for another day or so, and then at 28:15 we're entering hexagram 10 here as far as the Sun is concerned, and the Earth is always at the opposite end. In hexagram 12 right now, standstill, and then 15, which is modesty. So these are the turning points, seasonal, really the lowest point in that sense. And it's interesting, as we often see in the symbology of astrology, that you see kind of the inversions as well, which is always the balancing principle. So when the Sun is at its lowest point in the year, it appears here at the top of the chart, which is in itself worth a meditation and a contemplation. But to say, as the Sun reaches the farthest depth of the underworld, if you want, everything comes to peace. That's the name of hexagram 11. Everything comes to a calm, and we're coming to that inner balance to get ready for the big shift into a new year, what really is the cardinal zero Capricorn moment. It's the inception of the new year, and then yes, it takes another 3 months for it to naturally start manifesting. It's kind of that prenatal inception, which in the human design translates as 88 degrees. So it's pretty much that angle of 90, which is the creation force at work. The two different directions intersecting and sparking new life. So with the entrance of the Sun into hexagram 10, there is some great shift going on within each and everyone. I just shared actually Richard Rath's take on this. I have it here on my phone. I'm guessing I can just pull it up here quickly for you and share it with you, because it's, I have it not ready on the screen, but I have it here. So the 10th gift, this is the gift of this gene key, is the gift of naturalness that can dawn only when self-obsessions exhaust themselves. The first great revelation that comes from the journey into your own unique nature is that you cannot be defined by any kind of label. Once you understand that, you are neither your name nor your actions, nor your feelings, thoughts, or beliefs. You realize that human nature is something far greater and wider than you ever suspected. Very beautifully put in a nutshell what the energy of this cardinal hexagram is. So it is, we're reaching a whole deeper layer of reality as we step into the beginning of a new cycle. That's basically what it says. And as this is so close from Salasia's shift, so this is the flavor of that whole next year, which is here prepared, laid foundation of. And then another few minutes later, how can it be? Heliocentric Mercury enters Aries, another sign of a big new beginning. This is the this is the geocentric chart of that moment. Let me see. I will just change it to heliocentric. Sorry, I cannot talk anymore. But you see, it's under that same intense Moon Uranus opposition of tickling out the new, of bringing to the surface all that excitement and enthusiasm, and at the same time being ready to go deep into the mystery and bring out the hidden potentials which are available in our past. At the South Node here in Scorpio, very potent South Node, that Scorpio energy, very profound, very deep and intense. Naturally, intensity, I guess, is the surname of Scorpio. So let's just do the heliocentric chart to show you properly where this Mercury is in the heliocentric picture, and then we do this. Here we go, Mercury at 0, 0, 0 Aries, and again we have the 10th degree this time of Virgo and Pisces, which are squaring that very close that degree where Mars will station. So again, this all will be fully animated once Mars has changed direction. It's just the energies are put in place right now. The ground is prepared. The seeds are planted. They will start sprouting at their own time, and then grow into stature and produce results over the time of that cycle. In this case, it takes Mercury 88 days to once circle around the Sun. So this is a 3-month cycle here, which we start on that day, the 20th of December. And then just again, only let's see exactly, so this is 4:50 a.m. and then at 2:30 p.m. on that same day, Jupiter changes into Aries. Definitely it will be in the sign of creation, of new intention, of pioneering a new territory, of having that drive to push through into dimensions unseen, yet there's something Martian in naturally, Mars being the ruler of Aries. So Mars and Jupiter, when they are together, they can be very forceful, but also extremely productive and creative and able to ignite things in unheard of ways. The Sun now closing in here on Hygiea, so this in itself is a sign that these following few days are having tons of potential. Serendipity is one of the big words. Coming back to an inner balance, knowing how to heal and be healthy. And once again, the 10th degree here of Gemini, Sag, where Mars will station. You see, it's all kind of it's amazing, that intricacy of the interlacing of the different events, interconnection, how they all feed off each other. The Moon, by the way, here, the 21st degree of Scorpio. Those of you who listened to my last video, which I published about 9 days ago, where we talked intensely about the 21st degree of Scorpio, which is that degree of the soldier refusing orders which go on against his conscience. That is the Sabian symbol in a nutshell. Which means really it's the time of people coming to realize that they cannot do things anymore which go against their conscience, against their most sacred inner knowing of how things should be. So this is all paving the ground, putting things in place. And it is really astrology, the celestial energies, they work like guardrails. I guess that's the best way to see it. They slowly pry us and reality into a certain direction. They give us the space to kind of waver around this borderline for a while, but eventually we will have to adapt and adjust to that current. Then the next one I have lined up here for you is then actually the Capricorn ingress of the Sun, the real moment of winter solstice for Greenwich, 0 meridian, Sedna, high up here. Okay, again Sedna. No, we are not over yet with that fully. We are still getting deeper into the mess in a way. Deeper into the mystery. It's becoming more and more uncloaked. I guess that's what it shows, that the whole massive empire of fraud and of deception is all in here too, which is to be unveiled, all that dark reality. And as I said quite a few times already, with Jupiter at 007 Aries here, extremely potent placement here, so close to the Aries point, which is a public anchoring point. It is like all four cardinal angles. It is linking into the direct materialization of celestial energies into the Earth grid. The Sun now even more closely aligned with Hygiea here in that same cardinal first degree, in an exact square Ceres and Hygiea, by the way. Very powerful, very auspicious. When Ceres is in a hard aspect, there is a strong, hard push to make things happen. Ceres, yes, first and foremost is unconditional love, but as we know from parenting, unconditional love sometimes means to put your foot down, to be really hard and harsh and drawing a line, being the one who gives guidance. That is part of that role here too. So this is a powerful T-square we have here at the bottom of this year, at the birth of 2023, that magical year we are getting into. And there's Moon here at 8 degrees and something in Sag, again opposing that degree 807 where Mars will turn direct. You see, it's all centering around Mars. Mars is really the center point which is taking the right action. And Mars is still in the recovery phase, in that kind of that retrogression which has been going on since, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, it started sometime in November. I keep forgetting. You can go back and look it up. But it's a multi-week phase of coming to the bottom, what has gone wrong, how we can do things in a better way, gathering the momentum. It's the wave kind of pulling out, and then from the moment the planet turns direct again, moving forward, the wave is then starting slowly to roll in, and it will be a wave in many ways, metaphorically and real probably too. Interesting, AW197 here. Stealth is its first name, I would say. It has avoided being given a name now for close to 20 years, which is unusual for an 800 kilometer diameter minor planet. Usually objects of that size are given names within years. AW197 linked to stratagem, the art of war, the way to absorb difficult and dark energy and transmute it and modify it into a way which then defeats itself. Interesting that this exact same cross we see at the spring equinox for Washington DC. So this is the one for winter solstice, for Greenwich, for the global fractal, so to say. And here I have the one for Greenwich, for Washington, for March the 20th, when the sun is then at 0 degrees Aries. I found this pretty particular. Also in both charts we have a late balsamic moon. Actually the two lunar positions are exactly squaring each other too. So this is another interesting detail of these two charts. Here it is again, you see. So the balsamic moons, they show a phase of knowing. The moon has reached a very ripe stage in its cycle with the sun, has moved ahead of the sun, is very old in that sense, close to becoming redefined in a new moon, but not yet, so still holding that energy of a memory of what's been going on, integrating that knowledge, that balsamic phase of wisdom, of also planting seeds, of preparing, getting things ready, yet kind of a little behind the scenes, because we cannot fully step into the daylight yet, naturally, for known reasons. That new creation has to kind of come in as a surprise for the arrogant structure overhead, which is so self important that they have no eyes for what's truly going on. They all are just seeing their own small construct of. So you kind of get the picture. That's that whole thing about the balsamic moon. It's not yet fully available. It's still in the preparation phase of and again with the stealth here, energy at the ascendant. Yes, I guess it all adds up. And okay, let's see what's next here. Then we'll get edging even closer to new moon, just actually less than an hour before new moon. Chiron turns direct. Very big important moment. Chiron has been going backwards for 4 months. Kind of that focus of healing and integrating was an inward process. We were getting more ready to then go full steam again outwards into the world with this energy. This is the turning point. And Hygiea between sun and moon, very powerful, very beautiful at this 0 Capricorn point here. And Aries is here powerfully placed, and again Pallas, as we covered so many times, Pallas, the one who's able to see the patterns, put things in place. It's a mental brilliance which comes in with Pallas. Also justice and truth are words for Pallas Athene, the Greek goddess which this asteroid is named after. Mercury demands to be talked about for a minute here too. Mercury is just about approaching its maximum, 4-month maximum in that sense of longitudinal degree. It will reach it on the 29th of December at 24 degrees and something in Capricorn. Again, on that axis we talked before. You remember the American nations. Mercury is here at 24:11, so exactly at the opposite point. That's where Mercury will station on the 29th. I will make another video hopefully on that. Mercury in itself is another real critical element in the integration of what is going on this planet. Naturally, it is the mental wrapping around our minds, around what we see and hear, the interpretation of reality. That's very much Mercury, putting a grid on what we perceive and giving it names and putting things in context with one another. That's very Mercury. Mercury 2128 here with Arrokoth and Hilonome. Cool. Arrokoth, again, the one who is able to see the whole picture. Standing under the open sky, the whole revelation of everything is there in front of you, and you just have to take it in and absorb it. It's all there. There's no thinking really necessary anymore at this stage. It all falls in place. The puzzle pieces are all in the right arrangement. Hilonome, the one who is ready to take on to sacrifice itself, to take on a role of being so much in love with the world and with other beings, to sacrifice even its life. That's how the story goes, the myth of Hilonome, which is a centaur, a feminine centaur. And naturally, again, how could it be Pallas? I guess I didn't mention it yet in this chart. It shows up pretty much in every other chart. Sedna, again, powerfully placed here too. And then I guess the next chart will be the new moon. Let's see, here we are. And what the heck, again, 8 degrees, close to 8 degrees. Gemini, again, remember Mars stations at 8:07. Remarkable how it all points towards that Mars activation. Again, we have to wait till January the 12th for it to turn direct, but then naturally it will not all at once be in full power. It will build its momentum over the weeks and months to come. Early February is definitely a very, very critical period, and we will see. I will get more into that as we get closer. So let's just roll on. The next chart, as again I have wanted to quickly run that by you once more. The Aries ingress of the Sun, that's the spring equinox, the beginning of the natural cycle in March. Sun 0 Aries for Washington DC. And what I did here in my next chart is the midpoints between the Sun's ingress into Aries and the American nation's base chart. Comes out to November 11, 1899, the time-space midpoint between 1776 and 2023. That's what it is. And what is so special? That Sun-Jupiter conjunction, which indicates success and expansion here at the 7th house cusp for the people coming together. Also that Venus-Mars conjunction approaching in Sag together with Uranus. Very inspiring. There's actually a really huge alignment of planets here in this midpoint chart here in the sign of Sagittarius. It seems the ice is breaking. That nation is definitely turning the corner, go into a better direction. interesting that this midpoint moon at 7 degrees and something Pisces, opposed by the part of fortune. The part of fortune always is zodiacal degree which speaks for easy access to all the energies at once. Sun, moon and ascendant are the mirror points which make up the part of fortune. It is kind of where things naturally and easily fall in place with the moon here. And again, just going back here, you see that's the ascendant descendant axis of this chart for Washington here, with AW 197 again. So you get the picture. There is some magic in the making. We have to go steady and still very undercover, stealth, AW 197, and Uranus here, 708, 703, 728, you see it, you get the picture. This is exciting, super dynamic, and last but not least, again the 29 degree cardinal axis, which ties into this theme here, Venus, birth as a evening star, which I covered in the last video. So it all comes together in many ways, and again, all I can tell you is we are at the cusp of a most amazing few days here, between pretty much now and the 23rd. So many energy shifts all at once, a time to sit back, relax, celebrate, and just connect with your inner pool of power, confidence, trust, and know that the celestial geometry is such that everything is on its very best trajectory. Yes, there are casualties. It is the way in it can't be avoided in a war like that. I think we get away in the end with minimal damage, with minimal casualties, even though it looks like terrible, which I definitely see too. It is difficult, dark on many levels, but again, nothing happens without being necessary at some level to trigger, to lighten up a certain amount of people, to bring their minds to a realignment to with what's truly going on this planet. So overall, yes, connect with that inner confidence that everything is good, everything is well, and look ahead, don't look back, look ahead and plan and know your what you have to do in order to survive this difficult period where the system tries to push us into the last remaining corner, corral us in and close the locks behind us. That's where we're at. So a magical 2023 to all of you, and yeah, soon I will have another one. Thank you, and again, thank you so much. I really would like to say this once more. Thank you so much to all my supporters on Patreon. I think I also will include a link where you can donate some to my PayPal account. I guess that is easier for many, as not everybody is ready to put a monthly commitment down. So even if it's just $1 or two, it's most welcome. I am trying to put more and more energy into doing this, even though there's really at this point it's very minimal, but I'm very happy, very, very thankful, absolutely, for every little bit of support. And wishing you all a wonderful Christmas and all the good things. A great start into the new year. Happy solstice. Celebrate. We are almost there. Yes, almost. Not quite yet. Almost. Okay. Thank you.